is now moving towards becoming an economic hub, an important economic hub, just as the GCC countries have become. And I think there are a number of similarities, of course. One of them was discussed in a lot of detail now by Daniel Jürgen, and is, of course, the energy resource wealth that many of the countries in the Caspian corridor share, but also, of course, coming with it, a resource curse. And the need to diversify the economy is something which all the governments of the Caspian states are now keenly aware and are trying to move from the simple words into practical action plans. I think it is also, of course, about the society and the quality of people. And therefore, the panel on education that we had preceding our panel here is extremely important. And we have seen how much emphasis and investment now is going into the education for young professionals and attracting more talent into the region. But I think there are still a lot of challenges ahead. It still remains to be a region where more work needs to be done. I think if we look at the World Bank doing business indicators, I think most of the Gulf states are now moving into the top 10 in terms of being business-friendly, open for foreign investors. I think the majority of the Caspian states remain in the mid to low tier of the World Bank ratings. I think Azerbaijan has moved up, but still remains in the 66th place. Kazakhstan is in the 47th. Turkey remains at the 71st place. And of course, Russia is still in the 112th place out of 180. Another issue, I think, which differs Caspian region from the Gulf region is where the investment is really coming from. I think it is a very interesting change which has occurred in the GCC region from being predominantly supplied by investment from the Western countries, more than 59% came from the West, to becoming primarily an intra-regional investment. And I think in the Caspian region we are slowly moving in this direction, and the investment that we have seen earlier this year from Azerbaijan to Turkey, I think is perhaps the first major sign, but still the intra-regional investment is lacking.
Favorable location, yes, we're on the crossroads. One of the companies came to me and said, tell me why we should establish ourselves not in Azerbaijan, not in Kazakhstan. I said, yes, you can establish yourself in Kazakhstan, but if you want to be freezed in Kazakhstan at -40, you can go there. Good climate and welcoming culture. It's quite warm in Azerbaijan, not just the climate, but people are warm, very welcome. I'm not saying that we're very, kind of, distinguished in the area. Generally, the area is very, hospitable. But as so far the companies who are established in Azerbaijan, they are very well developed. Well-developed infrastructure, and since '94, in comparison with other Caspian countries, we have the #1 infrastructure in oil, and I believe we are building non-oil infrastructure around. We have very good roads. Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway line called the Silkway, which will be built soon. Low cost and skilled labor force. I would say low cost in comparison with other countries, yes, but skilled labor force, let me say the same what been told before. We have many students studying in the UK and other European countries by the government, sponsored by government, and in particular by state oil company. We've been sponsored 55 students last year.
Look around the world. The biggest problem, one of the biggest problems in the world, in the investment world, is where do you find growth and where do you invest? And this region, and investors around the world. There's a lot of capital, around the world that investors are actually looking for authentic investments. And when I say authentic, I'm not talking about wild investments. When you look at the dictionary meanings of authenticism, it has genuinity in it, it has reality, it has reliability and dependability. So when you look at this region, it actually has all in it. So I call the Caspian corridor as the new authentic investment destination for the investment world.